So I'm Emily Clement. I live in Laconia, back in my hometown. Yeah. So basically what I have, like exactly as Leslie just suggested, is I've really taken all my favorite elements of every job I've ever had and rolled it into what I'm doing now. I found with counseling that people were rehashing that backstory and talking about how they became who they are, and that is the shit that keeps you stuck. Like, stop retelling that old story. So one of the things that I really discovered is that if people, what I really would prefer to do, instead of talking about where you've been and how it affected you and how heavy and difficult and tragic it is and how exhausted you are and how that forgiveness is, choking you, that instead, or that resentment is choking you, instead, I just really want to meet you where you are right now. Tell me where you're headed. That's what I want to work on as a life coach. So I like to meet people exactly as she suggested. Where are you right now, and then where are you headed? Because that's the important part to me. Make sense? Yes. So what I like to do as a life coach, certainly, is everything is systematic. So thinking about the first thing that we always do is to define exactly what it is that we desire. And then when people tell me exactly what it is they desire, my next question is always the same. Well, if you know that's what you want, why don't you have it? So we're very good at defining whatever it is that we would like, but then it's what's getting in the way. So generally it's fears, sense of deserving, holding on to resentment, needing to practice forgiveness, all that good stuff. And even if you think about fears, there's only really 4 fears. Do you know what they are? Fear of not getting what you want, fear of losing what you've got, fear of other people's opinions, and fear of being found out. And monsters under your bed, but that might just be me. So if you think about that, whatever is getting in your way, so really I don't ask people to let go of their fears. You can hold on to them as long as you like, but really it's naming them. That's what takes the power out of them. So when you think about defining whatever it is that you like, look at what's getting in your way, and then you start to use your intuition, and you start to use the law of attraction, and you start to use gratitude and focusing on the solution and not the problem, then magical things happen. So I tell you, people come bombing into I work out of my house, bombing into my house and will just say, "You're not going to believe what happened this week. It was so amazing." It's like, no kidding. Give me a little more credit, would you? So really, it's like once people really shift to the solution, it's amazing that you just get more solution. But when we are so focused on the problem, we just get more problem. That's just the way it works. So thinking about also what holds us back, in addition to fears and resentment and all that difficult stuff to work through, is that we tend to stay in our comfort zone. So I like to imagine, I use this analogy a lot, that your comfort zone is like holding a hula hoop around your waist, right? So everything inside of that hula hoop is your comfort zone, and you are the master of your universe. You know what to expect, how to expect it, when to expect, who to rely on, who not to rely on. It's predictable, it's routine, and you don't have to take any risks or chances. So inside that hula hoop, which is pretty small, is that comfort zone. So generally speaking, whatever it is that you desire is just on the other side of that hula hoop. It's just on the other side of that comfort zone. So if you want something you've never had, you really need to do something you've never done. Feels pretty obvious, but it's not when you're in your happy little place and you realize your 30s are gone. That time moves on with or without you. You can make changes or not. Time is moving on. So just thinking about those paradigms, those habitual beliefs and habits you have in your own world that you cannot let go of, that's the tricky stuff. So my invitation as a life coach to people is to really think beyond, like, what is it that you desire outside of that hula hoop? Because that's the stuff I want to work on, not that backstory. So many examples of people getting stuck, but the example I like to use, I'd like to go to bed early. Like, I might go home in my pajamas tonight. This is late. Yeah, I know, really. Yeah, sweats and stilettos. Yeah. So thinking about, I like to go to bed early, so if I like to go to bed at 8 o'clock, but then one of my girlfriends calls and says, "Hey, Em, we should go out to the bar and get dinner. I'll pick you up at 9. No. First of all, I haven't been wearing a bra for about 4 hours, so that's not going to happen. I've been in my pajamas way too long to even entertain that. But that's my belief about myself and the world around me. The fact is, restaurants are open. The fact is, waitresses are serving food. But my belief about myself is I don't do that. So I don't. So once you start to have this awareness that you're constantly making knee-jerk reaction or knee-jerk decisions because it's the way it's always been, that is the stuff that keeps you stuck. So again, the invitation is to shift, to just sort of have that awareness that you're in this comfort zone, and what if you did do things that were different, and what if you did do things that were unfamiliar or unpredictable or might feel like a risk? What does that look like or feel like? Even, I use this example too, at our church, right? Coffee hour. We always have decaffeinated coffee. And every couple of months or years, this big, heavy conversation comes up. If we can have caffeinated coffee at coffee hour. And it's unbelievable. It is a really hot debate, and people have strong opinions about, we've only ever had decaf coffee at coffee hour. What if people are awake all night long? Like, what will we do then? So it's an irrational conversation, except it's so real because we have these habitual thoughts and beliefs about ourselves and the world around us that we cannot think differently. But the fact is there is caffeinated coffee, and we have about 500 coffee pots in this kitchen, and we have plenty of mugs that if you wanted one or the other, it could be accommodated to you. But we can't think differently, but we've always done it this way. So we get really, really stuck. Does that resonate with any of you? So just thinking about what are the decisions you make continuously that are not serving you. This is not interactive. I don't want to know. That was rhetorical. So it's just starting. So again, my invitation. So what we tend to do is we make decisions based on our current conditions and circumstances. We make decisions based on what we can see right in front of us. I would like to invite people to pick their head up and say it's unlimited potential, creativity, and opportunity on this planet. Do not look at the only thing in your vision and consider those as options. It's such limited thinking. It's really faulty to think that way. So I know personally I would like to, for real, live in the Caribbean in the winters. I'm kind of done with this northern New England stuff. Yeah, let's do it. Get a little yurt in St. John. So thinking about me wanting to live in the Virgin Islands, and or the Caribbean, it's oh, that's perfect, I could do that. Oh, no, actually I couldn't. What if my pipes freeze at home in Laconia? Oh, well, it was a dream while it lasted. So it's we're very quick to talk about why it wouldn't work. And we have these foolish examples, but at the same time, it's oh, thank God I can just stay in my comfort zone. I'll just be miserable here for my 42nd winter. And we just get stuck. So really, again, it's all about defining whatever it is that you do desire, and then how are you going to think differently and navigate your world differently to get there. And so I like to also think that you don't really want good answers. You want to be asking yourself good questions. So if you consider that the quality of your life is a direct reflection of the quality of questions that you ask. So money is always a hot topic. So if I'm coming from scarcity and lack, I might ask, how am I going to pay my bills this month? How am I going to do it? I don't know what to do. How am I going to pay my bills this month? So there's no room for movement. There's a lot of scarcity and lack in that. But if instead I ask the question, if I wanted to live in the Caribbean next winter and make $50,000 while I'm there, what would I need to do? So now I'm coming from creativity and abundance. Both questions are about money. But instead of that scarcity and lack and fear, I'm coming from unlimited opportunity and creativity and abundance. And that feels a lot better to me. I did live in the Caribbean. I taught at Antilles School in St. Thomas. So then I think, well, I could probably go back to St. Thomas and do life coaching workshops at big hotels or at resorts. And I already know those people have disposable income. And they're on vacation, so they're in a good mood. They may or may not be in a hurry. So how many clients would I need to enroll next winter in St. Thomas? So I'm asking bigger, more creative questions, so now I have the opportunity to get bigger and more creative answers, opposed to how am I going to pay my bills. So you always want to be in that space for opportunity. You know, like I joke about it, that when I taught at Cardigan Mountain School, so I taught in prep school for 3 years, it's all boys middle school, and I was in the faculty room one day and I said, I really want to teach or live internationally this summer, but I don't want to work a lot of hours and I don't want to pay for anything. They're like, ugh, must be nice, Princess Emily. But I am solution focused. You know, my dad had a shop in downtown Laconia for 37 years. I could have easily worked there my whole entire life, every summer, but I knew that was not for me. So I get a phone call. It's a prep school, so all these kids come from all over the planet, from one of my students who's from Greece, his mom, and she just said, oh, we really need a tutor for him this summer so he's more prepared. Will you come to Greece this summer? But we don't want him to make it feel like school, so only 1 hour a day, Monday through Friday, and we'll pay for your flight, and don't you worry. And then it was like, ha! I told you! In your face, faculty room. So it's just that whole idea, like and people mock me sometimes that I tend to always get what I want, but it's not out of a sense of entitlement, it's about a sense of intention. So really, I just want to get clear about what I want, not the problem, but the solution. So sure enough, you know, I was an exchange student in high school, so I said, well, can you tag on a week in London on both ends of this tutoring gig? So they did. You know, why? They don't care. You know, they're sending their 7th grader to prep school. They don't care what I do. So it's this non-stop ability to create your future. Every second of the day, you're creating your future. So it's up to you what you want to focus on, because whatever you're focused on, you're just going to get more of, for sure. Like, I might kick these shoes off because they were a good idea at the time. I'm not going to feel bad about it. So thinking about the law of attraction, are you familiar? I'm sure you're all familiar with the law of attraction. What you think about, what you bring about, what you focus on, you get more of. I mean, you know, we are pure energy. Our physical bodies, we are pure energy. And our thoughts are magnetized to us. Does not matter what you're thinking about, those thoughts are going to be magnetized to you. So one of my clients, lovely woman, she was saying, and she has small children, and she's like, I feel bad, but one of my dreams is really to travel around the US with my husband without kids. I'm like, that's fine, don't feel guilty about that. So then a few weeks later she comes in and she's like, oh, I'm so stressed out. We have this big event in Chicago, and then we've got friends getting married in DC, and then we're going out to Vegas for this convention, and the kids can't go to any of it, so I'm gonna have to get a babysitter, and like that's so much travel, and I'm like, careful what you wish for then. But it was like, this is exactly what you defined that you wanted. She's like, oh, you're right. Because that's what happens also, is that you get clear about what you desire, it's magnetized to you, and then you don't recognize it because you think it's going to look different. So these opportunities are constantly presenting themselves. You just have to be awake to see them. I had wanted to, I have this little quirky paranoia thing that I think someone's hiding in my house. So I used to come home, and my mom is here. The poor woman, I'd be like, Mom, what are you doing right now? Can you just do a sweep with me? So I would go and look in closets and under beds and behind shower curtains, you know, and in the basement. We're cool. And I would just constantly have this like stomach ache when I would get home that somebody was hiding in my house. Completely irrational. But as you can imagine, you know, 2 or 3 years ago, I went out, did an errand, came home, and someone had broken into my house. And there's shattered glass in the landing between the kitchen and the basement, and I can't see it, but later discovered that my bedroom was absolutely shredded. You know, drawers and bedside tables and all that stuff. I manifested that. Do you know how many times I rehearsed that in my mind? So the law of attraction isn't always your bikini body and winter house in the Caribbean. Maybe it is. But But it doesn't matter what you're thinking about. It's always magnetized to you. So you really have to be cautious with the thoughts that you're thinking, the conversations that you're having, and your belief system. Because whatever it is that you're focused on, you're going to get more of. You know, and on the flip side, I, had wanted my dream house. I just want my dream house. I just want my dream house, which isn't specific. But once I got clear and specific about whatever it is that I desired, it can be magnetized to me. So a few years ago, again, 9 years ago this summer, I found my dream house, but I really had to get clear and specific about what I wanted. I had looked at dozens of houses. The poor real estate agent, I thought that was fun for him. Do you want to look at houses outside of my price range, far away? Cool. So really, once I got clear and specific that I wanted original woodwork throughout, I wanted 2 full bedrooms and a full bath, 2 big bedrooms and a full bath upstairs. I wanted a garage. I wanted built-in in the dining room. I wanted a master bedroom for this knucklehead. I wanted a master bedroom on the first floor with a walk-in shower for the last man standing. You or Dad, I don't know. So thinking about all the things that I desired in my dream house, then I got clear and specific, and then I found the exact house I wanted. But for so long, it was like, I just want my dream house. And I feel pretty confident that all of us would have very different experiences or answers to that question. So it's about you getting clear about what you desire, not that backstory that's keeping you stuck. It's really about forward momentum. So the law of attraction, what you think about, you bring about, but then certainly the law of specificity, which is another universal law, that you need to get clear and specific about what that is. She wanted to travel in the U.S. without children with her husband. She got exactly what she desired. The bank. You don't go into the bank and say, hey, can I have enough money for the weekend? I don't know. What are you doing this weekend? But if you ask for $150, they'll give you to the penny $150. You need to be clear and specific about what you desire, and it will be given to you. I know there are a lot of thought thinkers, thought leaders that talk about the universe always says yes. God always says yes. If you think of all of your thoughts as prayers, they're always answered. So choose really wisely what you want that to be. I have a handout. Lovely Vanna. So I have a handout for you. And generally speaking, I would do this in a workshop or in our first appointment, whatever that looks like. And this is about you getting very clear and specific about whatever it is that you desire. And when you look at the arenas of your life, if you look at your health, I want you to consider, I have a magic wand and I'm waving it over your head right now, and you can have absolutely anything in the whole wide world that you desire. What is your ideal physical health, emotional health, mental health, and spiritual health? When you look at your relationships, what is your ideal image of the relationship with yourself, the most important relationship you'll ever have, or with your spouse, your family, your community, the earth, God? What are those ideal relationships look like? And then if you think about your career, that's anything that gives you passion, meaning, and purpose. So that could be work you do that you get paid for, or volunteer work, hobby, whatever that is. And then your financial freedom, how much money you want to earn, save, spend, or give away. And then, naturally, you don't have time to do this right now, but what I like to do is really get clear about what you desire, as specific as possible, but then in addition to that, write it as though it's already yours. And that tends to feel awkward for people because it isn't yours yet. So if I think about my spiritual health, and I really want to start meditating in the morning, but I haven't quite done it yet, I am going to write in the health quadrant, I guess, I meditate 15 minutes every morning. I'm going to write it as though it's already mine, because our brains are so extraordinarily powerful that we can trick ourselves into believing anything. I know like Tiger Woods does a lot of creative visualization and mental rehearsing before he goes to actual golf courses. So he will imagine holding the right club at the hole of the spot where he's going to take a shot, and he will do a lot of mental rehearsing. And what happens is that becomes muscle memory. and your body doesn't actually know if you've done it or not because you've practiced it in your mind. So a lot of professional athletes do this. Actually, for 3 years, I've worked for the junior hockey team in Laconia, the New England Wolves, and I'm their life coach. So 16 to 20-year-old boys who are recruited from all over the planet to come play hockey. And we do a lot of creative visualization with them because teenagers, they would prefer to point fingers, what you could have done and what you didn't do and why you were in the wrong spot. It's like, knock it off. If you all go out as your best self, it will just be magical. Don't worry about other people. You cannot change other people. You can only change your reaction to them. We love to micromanage other people. So really, it's about getting clear about whatever it is you desire and then imagining that it's already yours and then almost playing with that in a creative way with your imagination that you can picture it. So if I did want to live in, I want to live in the Caribbean in the winter. I live in the Caribbean every winter. So now I'm just imagining, what do I wear when I walk out the door in the morning? What kind of conversations am I having with people? Am I doing presentations? Do I have phone clients? Am I living on a boat? Am I living in the land? Am I entertaining friends? And then all of a sudden I can start to imagine what my life would look like. Like, do I do grocery shopping? Like, how does this all work? You know, like from those little tiny details to the big picture. And then once you can start to imagine what that looks like for yourself, it's more comfortable and familiar, the more comfortable and familiar it gets. Because generally, everything outside of that hula hoop feels like, I've always wanted that, but that's not really for me. I hope other people get to do that, but I don't think that that's for me. So really, you just want to own all the things that are already awaiting you, because truly, 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 what you are seeking is seeking you. Your job is to define it, but it cannot come to you unless you invite it. You just have to do that inviting by defining. Does that make sense so far? Super. So just quickly, with your handouts, I mean, you can see, write it as though it's already yours, and then your languaging is so important. Imagining, again, that everything, every prayer will be answered, every thought will be answered. So you want to use approach language versus avoidance language. So instead of, I want to lose 25 pounds, instead I have a strong, lean, healthy body, and I comfortably fit into a size 10. Something. So really, it's about what you are approaching, not what you're avoiding. I want to quit smoking. You don't want to put smoking there out into the universe because it's going to be answered. So instead, I have strong, healthy lungs. So whatever it is that you desire, that's the languaging that you want to use for it to be magnetized to you. And then we always start with gratitude. Gratitude is so powerful. Going back to the fact that we're all pure energy, is that we all emit a vibration or a frequency. I know a lot of you know this. So if you are functioning at a high frequency, a high vibration, you are love, kindness, compassion, and joy. And people who emit that low vibration, it's a lot of fear, worry, doubt, insecurity, rage. So really, we're always trying to raise our vibration. So using the language that you're desiring and starting with gratitude, gratitude is very high vibration, to say, I'm so happy and grateful now that I meditate 15 minutes every morning. I get to wear my sparkly shoes with comfort and ease whenever I leave the house. Yeah, I know. I can't. They're sweaty, stuck to my feet. No joke. They're going to have to put me on a dolly. So really, it's all about getting really comfortable and confident and believing that it's already yours, and then using that language that whatever it is that you're writing about or thinking about is going to be magnetized to you. And then the last line in bold at the bottom is this or something better, which I love this because what we tend to do is we hold on to our plans or our dreams or ideas with a death grip, that we want them to happen in this order, on my timeline, with these specific people, and then when it doesn't happen, we're riddled with resentment. You know, expectation is resentment waiting to happen. So you can just let go of that level of expectation and just say, this or something better. because all of a sudden, this or something better will happen, but you have to be ready to recognize it and welcome it. Yes? So then the very last piece is after people do these vision statements, and honest to God, every time I do a workshop, I complete the vision statement also. I have a 3-ring binder full of them in chronological order. And again, I'm not trying to impress you, but to impress upon you that I have gotten everything. Truly, like when I was working at Guilford High School as a guidance counselor, I was like, I'm going to quit this job and I'm going to start my own business as a life coach. And people were like, no, nobody knows what that is. Where are you going to meet clients? What are you going to do for health insurance? Like, this is a bad economy. No, you live in a terrible neighborhood. This is not going to work. And I just kept saying the same thing, like, those are your fears. They're not mine. Like, you keep them. I land on my feet every single time. Like, I'm not worried. So go about your business. But really, truly, once you get into that place where it's possible, again, reading these, they just become more and more comfortable and familiar, so they become more comfortable and familiar, and then it just becomes so manageable. What felt like a big deal at one point isn't. So anyway, so I've got all of these in chronological order, and it's like, remember when I wanted to quit my job? That was so 2014. So really, you move on, but then once you have this list in front of you, then you want to write a letter to a friend and pretend it's 3 years from today. This is your homework. Ready? Yeah. Your dog is not going to eat this. So you are going to write a letter to a friend as though it's 3 years from today, and every single thing on this handout is now your reality. It's all yours. So it's May 25th, 2020, which is insane, but that's a real number. So it's 3 years from today, and everything on this list is now yours, and you are going to write a letter to a friend and tell them about your life. And not just in list form, but how you feel. It feels so good to have the freedom and flexibility to only work Monday through Thursday and never before 10 a.m., which is something that's what I created for myself. I only work Monday through Thursday, and I don't see clients before 10 a.m. because I don't want to. Why not? You know, so then once you get, and it seemed ridiculous when I had a traditional job, when all these people are like, you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that, and then you do, and then you land on your feet, and then you say, okay, that worked, well, what else would work? And then you start to really integrate the things that you love, and then you get that, and it's like, oh, that's so funny. I thought this would take a decade, and it took 10 weeks, or whatever it is. So when you write this letter to a friend, don't send it. Well, you can, but that would be crazy. And they would like, unfriend, click. But what you want to do is write this letter as though it's already yours, and then I want you to read it at night and read it in the morning. Just keep it next to your bed, because this is the more you read it, the juicier it gets and the more manageable it gets. So this is, now it's called your vision statement. So this is your vision statement of what you would like your life to look like. I promise you it will not take 3 years. By 2020, you'll be like, oh, that was cute. Because you're going to rewrite this every couple of months, because you're going to discover that everything that you desired is starting to show up. Opportunities present themselves. People arrive. Like, it becomes this magical, fun game of manifesting. But if you fall off, you got to pull yourself back on and say, well, I tried that for an hour and it didn't work. Not really that way. So this vision statement, once you read it in the morning and in the evening, it's just going to feel really good, because right now when you're writing things as though they're already yours, it feels ridiculous. Like, there's no way I could retire next June. I don't know how I would ever do that. But then once you start to really get into that space, of course it's possible. Of course it's possible. Anything is possible, really. You're going to break out in song, Philomena? I like it. So again, reading this vision statement. So what I like to do, again, after you read it and reread it, then it starts to manifest, and then you can rewrite it. Because maybe that felt really small because you wanted to play it safe the first time you wrote it, and then once it becomes manageable, then it gets bigger. Or maybe not. And I should also say that not everyone wants to live in the Caribbean. Maybe they do. But I think a lot of clients that I work with are really interested in practicing forgiveness so they can let go of that resentment and move on. I have other clients who want to be more patient with their spouse, better about budgeting their time or money, kinder and more active with their adult children. Or they want to sleep through the night and wake up feeling confident and vibrant. These do not have to be monumental trips and financial commitments by any stretch. Because really you just want to be like the shiniest, most sparkly version of you. And that's totally manageable. So you just your work is to define it. And then you don't need to micromanage the universe, even though we love to do that. Do you have any questions?
I heard that.
Debbie?
Someone here wants to know what size your shoes were so they should know if they need to bug you.
That's so funny. I'd take them off and tell you. I've got a big commitment with these shoes right now. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. That's so funny. You can't drive in them either. Cannot drive. Nice. Other thoughts, questions? Yes?
Not a question, just a confirmation. 100%. If you're sitting here and you're like, how, what, why? It works. It absolutely works. You have to have faith in it and yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like I said, I have all these clients who almost don't believe me because they've been in therapy for so long and that never worked. And they're willing to try anything. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome, cool, let's start. And I'm like a little too high energy and optimistic, and then they're kind of annoyed because this is like heavy, hard work that they really need to get through right now. And I don't have the patience for that. Like, we all have that backstory, but I really encourage you to focus on whatever it is that you do desire, whether it's monumental or just sort of the everyday. Like, I just want to set up my coffee pot at night so my whole morning is smoother. It makes my whole day better if that coffee pot is ready when I get up. It's something so tiny like that. You know, these inevitability rituals so the second part of all of this is once you get clear about whatever it is you desire, then you have to set it up for these inevitability rituals. So I remember 100 years ago when I was in Weight Watchers, a woman used to put her remote to her television in her walking sneakers by the back door. So she was like, it's just enough of a reminder that I need to go for a walk and not sit down and watch TV. So as soon as I start to look for that remote, like, I know where it is. So then, but it's just these tiny little pieces, like putting out your workout clothes in the bathroom on the sink the night before, so in the morning, that's just effortless. Or doing automatic withdrawal to your retirement account. Whatever it is that you know is going to get you in the direction of what you desire. Because thinking about it is certainly not enough. Action is always rewarded. So once you start to take action, like I think of it if you just take a 1 degree shift right now, today, that's it, just a tiny little 1 degree shift, over time you're in a very different space. But if you continue to do what you're doing, you're just going to continue to get what you've always gotten. Captain Obvious told me that. So in your packet also, there is I live in a beautiful home in Laconia, and that's not it. I have workshops starting on Tuesday. I have noon and 6 p.m. on Tuesdays and noon and 6 p.m. on Wednesdays. They're 2 very different workshops. One is a 5-week, one is a 12-week. It's all in there. If you are interested in that, I'd love to see you. Always a good time. And my last invitation, I'll really stop talking, is if you write your vision statement and you want to email that to me, I love people's stories. And I'm not going to criticize, no, you couldn't really do that. Not anybody can be president of the United States. But allegedly. So I like to look at those stories to confirm you're using approach language. That's all. I just want, because a lot of people will just get stuck in, well, what I don't want to do and what I can't do anymore and what still frustrates me. It's like, pump the brakes, kid. You want to focus on whatever it is you desire. So I like to read those for the attraction part of that, not for criticizing or critiquing whatever it is you desire. And I would have handed out business cards, but the Gestapo would have got me at the door, so. Oh, great. I flushed them down the toilet. I didn't want you to see the stack.
I own it.
So if you want one, you can meet me upstairs in the lobby.
When they pass in their name tags, they could get
Perfect. I will leave a subtle stack out there if the spirit moves you. Nice. So do you have a question? Yes.
Can you just go over the 4 fears that you started with? Like,
The 4 fears, so monsters under the bed was the first one. Fear of not getting what you want, fear of losing what you have, fear of other people's opinions, and fear of being found out.
thank you so much.
Yes.
I hear that a lot with women.
That sometimes we feel like frauds.
The imposter syndrome.
The imposter syndrome, that we're not as competent as people believe we are. Could be one way to look at being found out. Sure. And fear is a choice.
Do you have a suggestion for how people do that, a bigger discussion?
If you're experiencing fear, you really want to lean on your faith, right? Because the more attention you give to your fear, you get broken into. So really, so my new mantra at my house is I have a beautiful, safe, happy home. I have a beautiful, safe, happy home. My home is comfortable and it is safe, and I'm here all by myself. So it's shifting from that fear to faith. So you really want to lean on your faith all the time, that everything is working perfectly for you in the way that you've defined it.
Thoughts create reality.
Your thoughts always create your reality.
Did you guys need to repeat that again? Before? Can you repeat them again? They're already done.
I think you're a little too fear-focused in here. For the 3rd time.
Blame it on the drink.
Oh my gosh. It was the drink. So, fear,
Really great things that you said.
fear of not getting what you want, of losing it, of other people's opinions, being found out.
Is somebody at this table at least said that? They can get back to Dory. Okay.
Do you have a ride home? Yes.
I'll drop you.
Okay.
You know, I was the dreamer. I deserve the drink.
Yeah, no, trust me, I get it.
This may sound a little like an odd question, but can you explain what you mean by being found out?
Oh, that's funny. She just asked what it feels like to be found out. These are coming up. Wait for it, people. Oh, God, I'm only 4'8". Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Being a fraud, feeling like you're a fraud in some sense. Yes?
What do you think of vision boards?
Vision boards, it taps my inner 8th grader, and I love it. I do vision boards a lot. I do vision boards for very specific themes, so that's when you take like magazines and cut out words and pictures of all the things you want magnetized to you. So I do vision boards pretty regularly, and I do them in my workshops also. So I like it when people select a specific theme before they do their vision board. So if it's your spiritual health, what does that look like? Or if it is your financial freedom, what does that look like? Or the relationship that you desire to have, whether you have it or not. And just getting specific, because it's very easy once you get fun magazines to just find fun words and cool fonts and colors, which is great. I mean, that's what makes it so fun. But sticking with a theme within that context is always helpful. Yep.
The fear,
Oh, geez.
fear of being found out is really called the imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome, yep.
It's a very real syndrome, and as soon as my daughter arrives, she'll
Perfect. Thank you. Talk about imposter. She's not even here. Yes.
Do you ever at workshops, other places around the state, or?
I will happily offer workshops wherever. Yeah. Where do you live, for example? Amherst. If I can connect with you and we can come up with a place to do that, I will happily. Perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
You just have to tack a week on London on each other.
I know, really. You need to pay for my tolls. That's so funny. No, absolutely, absolutely. I will go wherever you are and offer wherever you are. 8 o'clock in the morning? On Friday? Yeah. No. That's right. That's right. So thank you. I really appreciate the invitation to be here.